subscribe to Homelessness Doesn't Have a Face, I want to say thank you for tuning in, sharing, liking, and subscribing. I also want to say forgive me for the echo. It's still a new apartment, so it's quite empty. But besides that, I want to say thank you for tuning in for this week, as I promised you from last week, that I'll be talking about how I moved from the space that I was in to changing now from being homeless but being very hopeful. So let's get right into it. Moving from homelessness to hopefulness did not come easy. Trust me, it did not come easy. In fact, it was through those negative encounters that I had that contributed to hopefulness. What do I mean by this? As I mentioned in the first video, that I stayed in 37 different places around Cape Town. Yes, so that includes the shelters, the children's homes, family, friends, family, and it was not easy. Trust me, it was not easy. When you are living in someone's space, doesn't matter whether they offered the help or you asked and they said yes. When you are now in the space of that person, that character is no longer the person that you know. Their personality is no longer the person that you know. People now, they've changed. They're making your life a living hell because you are in their space. And my thing was, why couldn't you just say no if you're going to treat me this way? You know? So like, I don't understand that I'm going through this situation right now. I am fighting for my life, and you said you're gonna offer me help, and I am here, but then at the same time, you are making sure that you are making my life a living hell. It was in those situations that I was like, okay, you know what? Yes, I may be in this situation, but I'm gonna come out of this greater than before. Whenever I was in those situations, I had to think of the bigger picture. Am I getting closer to this goal that I want? One of those goals was for me going into university. And as I mentioned it in my second video, I did pass my matric in 2010, but I passed very poorly. And in such a way that I had to upgrade. And I upgraded because I couldn't go to college. You know, college at that time didn't have funding. College didn't have a res whereby you can stay. And that was my goal. I need to get into university so that I'm going to have funding. I'm going to have a place to live. For once in my life, I can have a place for 4 years. Permanent. That's where I'm staying. That's my address. I can make that place my home. And so that was the goal for me to go into university. And I upgraded my marks. And I upgraded 3 times. Yes. I had to upgrade 3 times. Sorry guys. I upgraded 3 times to get that bachelor going into university. It was not easy. During that time when I was upgrading, I was working. I was staying with different kinds of people that tried to put me down, that didn't contribute to my life. Instead, they were so negative. And I just don't know how they lived with themselves. I just don't know how other people do it, honestly. But anyway, this is not about them, it's about me. I got into university in 2014, after I had upgraded 3 times. The journey of that upgrading was not easy. I had to also take a new subject to help me build with what I already have. And I took that one subject that year of upgrading, not attending classes at all. I was doing it all by myself, and amazingly, I got 80 for that. And I was so happy because it boosted me to go into university. And I got into university. I stayed at the res, and it was great that first year. And this was now at UWC. And then I had this one course. Oh, that course was like the mountain, and it could not be moved. And in that first year at UWC, I passed very well all my other subjects, and I was doing very, very well. But till December, at the end, that subject was there and I failed it, unfortunately. And then what they did is they wanted me to repeat that subject for the whole of the first 6 months in 2015. Now look at this. I don't have a home. I am currently right now, at the time, I am currently staying. Okay, at this moment, I don't even know. Yeah, at that moment, I didn't even know where I was gonna go. I was busy crying in the office at UWC because I'm at this res, but I don't know where I'm gonna go. I'm busy begging them, and it was hell. Guys, it was hell in my life at that moment. It's one thing when you're being academically excluded, but it's another thing knowing that this is what I based my life on. I'm now gonna lose the one thing that was going to help me, and I'm gonna lose all of this. Where am I gonna stay? Where am I gonna live? Where am I gonna go? And now I was there, not only crying because, oh, iskolo. I'm crying because a place to stay. I'm crying because zolalaphi. So okay, fine. Those people didn't have mercy, guys. No mercy whatsoever. And I couldn't study 6 months doing one subject because I don't have a place to stay. Whereby I'm gonna go home, go to school, come back, and that luxury, that opportunity, I didn't have that. So I decided, you know what, it's fine, I'm gonna work. So I'm looking for a job, and now at this time I'm staying with a friend's family. I'm staying at a friend's family during this period of my life, eGugulethu, and I'm staying there. Okay, it felt like I was at home because I was very open. They made me very comfortable. You know, it was like my own home. They didn't, not for once, made me feel like I didn't belong. So I really appreciate, I stayed there, but then now, it was like my mother was going to be sick and she was not feeling well, and through it all, I had to be like, you know what, it's fine. I'm gonna go stay with her. I'm gonna look after her. I'm gonna do this, you know. And I did that. I don't have a place of staying and all of that, and most of it is it's her fault. But she's sick, I'm gonna go. And I stayed with her and only to find out, I don't know, maybe she was wanting to see me or wanting me to be with her, but when I got there, this person was not sick at all. She was not sick at all, but it's fine. I stayed with her, and now I'm still looking for the job. And now at this moment, we're staying at a backyard shack that is small, that is cold. Guys, that for me was the worst ever. And not because it's a shack, but because I looked at my life, I looked at my goals, I looked at where I was, I looked at where I was coming from, and I was like, this cannot be it. And this definitely, it cannot be it. But this was my reality. And there, while I was staying there, it was cold. I had to wash outside, you know, and okay, not wash outside, but inside, but do most of the things outside because the shack was very small. It was too small. And it was very cold. There was no carpet. Bisamente. And trying to make a mat, payana, like put a mat there, and trying to make the most out of it. I looked beyond staying in the shack. I knew where I want. I told myself I'm gonna get a job, and after I get a job, I'm gonna apply again and go back to university. I'm gonna stay at university. That was my goal. That was my direct goal. And I remember I got a call for a job interview at Cape Town Green Market Square, and I went there. Okay, before I went there, this is it. There was no electricity. There was load shedding that day. The day of the interview, I had load shedding. There was load shedding the day of the interview. I had to wash with cold water. And it was in August. It was still cold. I remember it. I washed with cold water, got dressed to kill. I was beautiful. Got into a train, went to town. I had a two people interviewer, like two people that were interviewing me. And I was the third person just sitting there, and you know how panel interviews are. They try to play with your mind, try to see if you can think on the spot, and that post was for email customer service, whereby we were working for UK clients. So I was on the emails, just answering clients online on the emails, and yeah. And back and forth, back and forth. I answered. I was very confident. By the time I left that interview, I could tell you guys, I felt it in me that I got this job because they were so impressed. They were so impressed, and I remember I'd been praying, I was fasting, and I was telling myself that this job, it's a do or die. I have to give my best. This job is my ticket out of my situation, because where I'm at right now, it's not it. Because besides the fact that the shack is cold, it's small, I'm still facing some situations from my mother. And that, if I could tell you of how much I stayed with her at the shack, that is a whole subject on its own. Yeah, I'm not going to go into that now. But yeah, I got a job. Okay, I left. Next day, I got the job. I was starting the next Monday. I was so happy. I was so happy. I was over the moon. Because even the package, it's great. There's medical aid. You're getting this, and you're getting... that was the first job that I got that paid me so much. It was a lot. And I started to work. I loved working there. And then it kicked in that, girl, you need to go back to university, because once you get used to this money, you're not gonna go back, and you're gonna lose the goal that you had, the goals, the dreams that you had. Yes, the money is good, but you need to look at the future. This money now, yes, you're gonna get, as time goes by, the company is gonna grow, you're gonna get more, but there are dreams that you want to fulfill in your life. Then I applied at UJ. I got accepted at UJ. I applied at UCT. I got accepted at UCT. And both institutions did say to me that even though I had done my first year at UWC, they are not going to credit me for my first year. I'm going to start from scratch again first year. And I was like, no, definitely, that's okay. I don't mind, because I'm at my own pace. I'm running my own race. I am not in competition with anyone. I have my own situation that is different from everybody else. As other people, they also have different situations to everybody else as well. So first year, definitely, because now I've already have funding. I've got a bursary, I've got a scholarship that's gonna cover everything, allowance, all of that. So I don't mind. And indeed, I got into university. I got into UCT, and I stayed at the mature student residence, and I made that home. I made Res my home, my place of stay. And it was a great thing. I remember I cried when I received the Res, because this is the Res I also wanted to stay in. I had worshipped UCT all of my life. I grew up in Emory, and this university was so close. So it was like this dream of even being at UCT is a dream on its own that is achieved on its own. That alone is a dream accomplished for me. If I can get into the university that I've always been fantasizing about all my life, I got in. Second of all, I got into the subject that I wanted to do, the course that I wanted to do, that's social work. I got funding. I got a whole scholarship that's gonna cover all my 4 years, and I'm gonna get everything, allowance, all of that. That was the dream. The girl made it. I was like, I made it. I did that. I did that. Look at me now. I was very happy, and I made sure that I stayed on par with my results so that I don't lose funding at all. And the Res part became a big part of me, because me staying at Res was like my home. For me, it was home. For me, it was a place where I could call home. During June, July vacation, there was no need for you to leave, so you could still stay at Res. But now it was during the December. It was hell for me, because we had to move out. And I couldn't enjoy most of my allowance, because I had to save up money so that I can rent a place during December and January. And this time, my mother is not even staying in the same place anymore. She's staying at other different places. So it's not like, oh, why couldn't you go back to the shack? No, it was never like that. I was the last person to leave Res, having to struggle, look for a place, where you're gonna stay, who maybe you can ask to stay with so that you can save money, that I don't have to take this money and put it for rent. The Res was the first place that I had whereby I stayed 4 years straight without moving one place to another, not knowing where I'm going to stay, where I'm going to be, where I'm going to move. It was the first place, apart from the December, January vacation, as I mentioned. I was staying there the whole time. I've got no worry about where I'm going to move to next. I've got no worry about so and so, because even there, I shared first year. The person had their own room, I had my own room, we shared the kitchen and a bathroom. But from second year until fourth year, final year, I was having my own bachelor at the Res. I had my own bachelor, my funding, they paid for that. I had my own bachelor, my own space, me, and that's where I found most of myself. Happy, my own space, my own, as they like to say, man cave. That was my woman cave. I loved it there. It was really great. And that, for me, achieving my goals, achieving what I had always wanted, that's what made me move. That build up of knowing that one day I want to go to this university, not just at a university, this university, to be precise, to know what you want and name it and say, I'm gonna get this. I want to go to university, and at this university, and I'm gonna study social work, and I'm gonna be the best social worker, and exactly going into social work, graduating from social work, and being the best social worker. I just want to say that moving from being negative to a positive space, it has nothing to do with your surrounding. It has everything to do with what's inside of you. What is your goal? What is your project? What is it that you want to achieve? Where do you see yourself? Who are you? How do you identify yourself? Those are the questions that you have to ask yourself in whatever situation that you are in. At this moment right now, you may be going through hell. You know, there's this whole corona, and then there's other problems that you've had even before this COVID-19 hit. But you have to ask yourself, yes, I'm in this situation right now, but what are my goals? How am I going to get there? The how is very important, and the why. Why are you doing this? Why do you want to achieve that? Why do you want to achieve this? Why are you alive today to a point of saying, okay, I'm going to go to work, I'm going to look for a job, I'm going to try to make the situation better in this way? Why? Why are you doing that? And the importance of how do you get there? Are you using the right platforms? Do you have the right way of doing it? Are you demotivated while doing it? Are you motivated while doing it? So like that thing of having to move from being homeless and hopeless and being down and being negative and allowing this to consume me and getting to a point and being positive and coming out as a strong person and saying, look, you are not going to define me. It had to deal with me, inside of me. Where do I see myself? What do I want to achieve? Why am I given a second chance at life whereby I could have died? Why? I had to find out why and make sure that I am working towards that. So it has everything to do with the inside of you. And I can stop here this week before I go on being a whole motivational speaker. Let's do this again next week, same time on Friday morning. Please do like, subscribe, share with other people, and I'll see you next week. Bye.